As I go along this journey and I get further and further into the weeds of whatever whatever this is, whatever this writing adventure is, there are several moments and moments that I've talked about on this channel here where I experience, the challenges, the self doubt, and all manner of basic adversity. But one thing that is important to understand is the idea of perspective. I, and really all of us, for the most part, are in a position that most humans have never had in the entire span of history. And certainly if you're like me, living in the first world, I mean, you have the best, advantages really of any, in all of history comparatively, even today. But just in general, I mean, if you think about the fact that the modern Homo sapien is somewhere between 100,000, 200,000 years old, that's kind of what they put the estimates at. For 98% of that time, 99% of that time, humans were dying from their teeth rotting in their mouths, and they were living to maybe, a few decades. Half the women, alive were dying in childbirth. It's a privilege to be able just to get up and to sort of pursue a dream, to not have to fight for survival, to not wake up every day just thinking, okay, get food, get water, live. To have your sort of base level needs met. It's a great privilege, and that's often why I feel it's sometimes, like when I complain a little bit on this channel here, a little bit of sense of shame in that, really, in the grand scheme of things, you have nothing to complain about. Now, I see all the time, I think it's important to be honest about the process here and to kind of vocalize that, because I know others go through the same thing. But it's about perspective. At the end of the day, this really needs to be maintained first and foremost, is the idea of perspective. That if every single dream and aspiration you ever went after never came true, you would still be better off than almost anyone else in history. It's kind of wild to think about it, but if you get down to it, yeah. If you put every single human being that's ever lived into represented maybe like a marble, and you put that marble in a jar, it's gonna be this massive vat of billions of people, and you draw it out. It's a good chance that marble you draw out is gonna have had a way worse life than you've had. Not always the case, but odds are pretty good. So as I'm doing this, it's important to keep that in mind. I tell myself that a lot. Most days, that's kind of what gets me out of my funk on occasion. If I'm like really angry about something or frustrated with this process, usually just a day or two of stewing in that, I'll kind of think to myself, all right, look, you're doing something that most people never had the luxury to do. It's like the Thomas Jefferson quote about how he studies war books and military tactics so his sons will have the luxury to study art and poetry. I'm paraphrasing that a ton, so that's not the exact quote, but it's something along that line. Perspective. Always try and maintain it. It's the hardest thing in the world to do, but to always maintain it is really, 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 really important. So, with that, I'm going to sign off here. Today was kind of a meh day at the keyboard, to be honest. But again, perspective. A meh day, a sort of blasé, malaise kind of day at the keyboard is better than pretty much anyone else in history has ever had it. But all right, I will see you all tomorrow.